Alright, hello everyone. My name is Hannah and today I'm going to be leading you through a warm-up. So this is probably going to be about 20-25 minutes long, and we're really just going to be working our muscles head to toe, waking them up, getting them ready for a workout. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a mat with me. Feel free to have a water bottle with you as well. That way we're all staying hydrated during this workout. And let's go ahead and we're just going to start with a squat. So we're just going to slowly lower ourselves down, making sure that our knees are not going past our toes. And we're going to take both of our hands, reach down, and we're going to pick up a ball. Now there's a ball in my hands right now. And we're going to take this ball and we're going to reach it above our heads. And we're going to bring it back behind our heads. And we're just going to be stretching out, making sure we're holding on to this ball. Now we're going to take this ball and we're going to bring it in front of us, really rounding our shoulders, making sure we're not bending at the hips, we're just rounding our shoulders. Now with our ball, we're going to bring it back to center, back above our heads, and this time we're going to lean. We're going to take the ball to the side, and this will be stretching all of our muscles along this side. We're just going to hold that for 3, 2, 1. We're going back above our heads, and we're doing the same thing on the other side. I like to call this around the world because in between our hands, our ball is going to be the globe. So we're taking that globe and we're kind of just bringing it around the world. All right, and now we're going to take our ball, bring it back to center. We're going to squat back down again, and we're just going to drop it on the ground. All right, that was our first stretch. Now we're going to go into our next stretch. This is going to be a back stretch and a chest opener. So we're going to take our hands, raise them above our heads, and we're going to bring them down so that we're forming a bit of a W. Once we do this, we're going to bring our hands back, and we're just going to pinch our shoulder blades together. So we're going to want to make sure that a grape is being squished right between our shoulder blades. So we're just going to want to go down and pinch. Now let's bring our hands back up, and we're going to go down and do the same thing into our W, and then we're pinching. Let's do this 2 more times. Back up, down, and pinch. And one last time, up, down, and pinch. All right, let's now start moving our legs. Let's shake out our arms. And we're going to be doing some bicep curls. So we're just going to be taking both of our hands and curling them just like this. And we're going to be doing this for about 30 seconds. Really just warming up our bodies. If you want, we can add an overhead press, though this is a bit confusing for me. I think I'm getting a little bit off beat, so I'm just going to stick with bicep curls. And after this, we're going to go into some walking jacks. Now, if you want some more impact, feel free to go ahead and do some jumping jacks, but I'm going to stick with some walking jacks. So 3, 2, and 1. We're now, hang on, there we go. Walking back and forth, moving our arms above our head. Now the purpose of this exercise isn't really to stretch or strengthen one particular muscle. It's more about waking up our bodies, waking up those muscles, and really getting our blood pumping. Our heart rate is going to be increasing, and it's really just us telling our bodies we're working out. Now let's go ahead and we're going to keep stepping side to side. But this time we're going to be doing a lateral shuffle. So we're going to be taking one leg behind the other. There we go. And we're going to be working our adductors and our abductors in our legs. So we're just going to be stepping like this for a minute. If you're looking to do something with your hands, feel free to add some punches. But if not, always hands on the hips is the best way to go. All right, let's do about 3 of these, 2, and 1. And we're going to go into some hamstring curls. So we're going to be strengthening our hamstrings, and we really want to get our feet as close to our glutes as possible to really feel our legs working. Now we're also going to add in a tricep stretch. So while we're doing these hamstring curls, let's take our hands above our head. Let's drop one of our arms to touch our shoulder blades. And we're just going to grab that elbow. Really, you want to grab right below it. And we're going to be feeling the tricep stretch right here. And let's hold this for about 5 more seconds. All right. Shake them out. We're doing the same thing on the other side. And if you're really feeling these hamstring curls, feel free to just march in place, anything to keep your legs moving. And let's hold this tricep stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to again shake those arms out, and we're going to transition into some high knees. Now what I love about high knees is they can be as high impact or as low impact as you like. So we're going to really be bringing up our knees, and we're going to add our arms in. We're now going to be slapping the big red button. So what this is going to look like is there's going to be a button on our knee, and our job is to tap it, just like this. Now this exercise is not activating your core, because not only are we doing high knees, we're now adding a balance component, as well as a trunk rotation of our torso. So our core is now activated because this exercise just got a little bit harder. All right, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And we're now going to go into some lunges. So we're going to start with a lateral lunge. So we're going to be stepping out to the side, bending this knee, and stretching. Now, unfortunately, because I'm in a tighter space, I'm going to be walking back and forth. But let's go ahead and just do some lateral lunges, making sure that the foot that's leading is alternating between your right and your left knee. All right, let's do 2 more on each leg. I'll do 1 on my right leg, the last one on my left leg, and the last one on my right leg. All right, next, we're still doing lunges. We're going to go into some forward lunges. So we're going to be taking that step forward, and we're just dropping our hips. We're not moving them forward or backwards. We're just going up, down, and back. Now let's switch legs, taking our hips, going straight down, making sure that our posture is good, our head is sitting right above our shoulders, and that our back is straight. Now lunges are a great exercise to do because you can do them with no weight, you can do them with weights on your hands, add some dumbbells, but this is a good exercise. Adds a little bit of balance into it as well, so that's always good, especially for those interested in looking at finding some exercises that help with injury prevention or that help you increase balance, which will help reduce risks of falling. But let's do 1 more lunge on each leg. All right, last one. And we're going to stay on the ground, and we're going to transition into some mountain climbers. So with this one, we're going to be going onto our hands and knees, going up onto our toes, and we're just going to start running. We're just going to be climbing this mountain. And if you're looking for mountain climbers where you're not picking up your feet, feel free to pedal just like this, And this will actually add a bit of a calf workout as well as a calf stretch. Let's do 10 more seconds. All right, come on everyone, let's finish strong. Bringing our knees as close to our chests as possible. All right. And we'll sit back up, and we're going to make our way into downward dog. So we're going to be taking our hands, walking them forward, and we're going to be going up into a stretch where you're looking like an upside down V. And we're going to hold this. And with this stretch, it's going to again be working your calves, but it's also going to be stretching out your back. All right. And we're now going to go into some push-ups. So I'm going to take a break, really open up my chest and get some deep breaths in. And then we're going to go ahead and go into our push-ups. Now push-ups can be done on your knees or on your toes. So if you feel confident in push-ups, I encourage you to use your feet. If you're really trying to focus on the form and really focus on working your chest, I would recommend going on your knees. I'm going to go on my knees because I really like to focus on strengthening my arm muscles. So I like to make sure that there's a little less weight so that I know that I'm doing it correctly. So let's all go ahead and try and crank out 5. If you're done before I am, feel free to keep going. Well, let's do about 3 more. 2 and 1. All right. Nice job, everyone. We're now going to go into a tabletop position for some bird dogs. So I'm going to rotate my mat real quick so that y'all have a better view of what I'm doing. But we're going to be going back into tabletop, and we're going to be extending an arm and the opposite leg at the same time. So we're going to go and do our arm and our leg at the same time. We're going to extend them, hold it, bring it back down, and just keep alternating throughout this exercise. This exercise is a really great workout for your erector spinae, which is a huge chunk of muscle that runs down your back. As well as this being a great strengthening exercise, it definitely tests your balance. So let's do 2 more on each side. And then we'll go ahead and transition into some cat-cows, which will actually be a stretch for our erector spinae. So our cat-cows are going to be a exercise that will actually be stretching our erector spinae. And so we're going to start in tabletop position again, and we're going to be arching our back and curling our back. So we're going to go into this position, and let's first start with bringing our back up and tucking your chin. You should be looking at your toes, everyone. And we're going to go down, and we're now going to reach towards the sky and try and see as high up as you can. And let's go back down, tucking our chins, and back up, looking towards the sky. And let's do 2 more of these. I would say cat-cows are one of my favorite stretches, just because it feels so relaxing to complete them. So let's do 2 more. And then we're going to go into some plank taps. So a plank tap is where you're going up either on your knees or on your toes. I'll be going up on my knees, and we are going to be raising one hand at a time and tapping our shoulder. Now, I really like to do plank taps because I like to think that tapping my shoulders gives me something to focus on when I'm doing a plank. And so it just helps me pass the time. But we're just going to be keeping our backs straight, making sure they're not arched or dipped, and we're just going to be tapping our shoulders. Now, if you would like to just focus on the plank, feel free to go up on your hands and just hold this position, or going on your elbows is also always an option. But let's go ahead and do about 5 more seconds of plank taps, and then we're going to go into a couple exercises on our back. All right, I'm going to rotate my mat once again. But while I'm doing this, everyone, let's go and roll onto our backs because we're going to be doing some bicycle crunches. So we're going to be laying on the ground, hands behind our head. Our knees are going to be up, and we're just going to start pedaling. Now for this one, it's really important that you're activating and engaging your core muscles, your rectus abdominis. That way, your back is actually staying flat on the mat underneath you. What you don't want to see is an arched back where stuff can be slid underneath it. That's actually very bad for your back, so you want to make sure that your core is tight and your spine is pressed firmly against the floor. Let's do 10 more seconds of these bicycle crunches, and then we're going to move on to a quad stretch, which will be a nice break because these bicycles are really strengthening my quads. Alrighty, and let's now roll on to our sides. I like to prop my head up with my hand, but I'm going to take this leg, grab my foot, and I'm just going to pull back my quad so I'm feeling the stretch right here, all up and down the muscle. And we're just going to hold this for about 10 more seconds. And then after this, we'll be rotating and we'll be getting our other leg. And then we'll slowly make our way back up to standing, where we'll end this workout. All right, and let's switch to the other side. And we'll grab our other leg, and we'll do the same thing as before. And again, let's hold this for about 10-15 more seconds. And if any of you struggle to grab your foot and pull it back, my suggestion would be to grab a towel and kind of wrap it over your toes so you can actually hold your foot right around here instead. And that is the end of our ground stretches. So before we stand back up, let's go ahead and take a sec to do some deep breathing, grab a sip of water if you need, and we're going to resume with a stretch for our hip flexors. So take this time to take a couple deep breaths, and we'll resume in about 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to be going back into a lunge, but this time we're just going to be putting our knee on the floor and our leg out in front of us. And this time we're going to be taking our hips and we're just going to be moving them forward. So we'll be stretching our hip flexors, this muscle that runs all along here. And we're going to stretch this. And let's go back, and we're now going to switch our legs. Whoop, losing my balance a bit. And again, bringing that foot forward and just moving our hips so that we're feeling this stretch. Now, if you'd like to kind of stretch out your stomach, I guess, you can always take that ball again and reach it above your head. But this is definitely a test of one's balance. Now we're going to get back up after we've done our hip flexor stretches, and we're just going to switch into a quick balance activity. So this isn't stretching anything, but we're just going to pick one foot off the ground, and we're going to try and hold this for about 15 seconds. Now, when I do balance exercises, I've been told that it really helps to look at an object that's not moving. So right now, I'm looking at a chair, and that's helping me hold my balance. And if you're wobbling a bit, feel free to try and set your foot down quickly and then bring it back up. Or you can rest it atop your other foot. But let's go ahead and switch, doing the same thing with our other leg, just picking it up. And if your balance is doing well, feel free to raise it up a bit higher. And we got about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, nice job, everyone. Let's go ahead and do some shoulder shrugs. So we're just going to go up, deep breath in, and drop our shoulders and exhale. Let's do the same thing, inhaling and exhaling on the way down. We're now going to roll our shoulders around, so we're bringing them in a circle. And we're now going to do some arm circles. So we're now going to bring in our arms. We're just going to be going backwards. And we're going to start big. So we're drawing some pretty big circles right now. And let's go ahead and we'll bring them in a bit smaller. So about some medium-sized circles. And let's get even smaller. In fact, let's get a little bit faster. And we're just going to swing our arms now before we switch directions. But now we're going to be making our big circles, and we're going to be going forwards this time. Unless you went backwards, unless you went forwards the first time. And we're going to make our circles smaller. So going back to our medium circles. And we're going to go smaller still. And again, we're just going to drop our arms, kind of relax our shoulders. And we're going to start marching side to side. Feel free to do something with your arms. It's always cool to do some bicep curls. You can always do some punches. But for this last bit, I'm going to be doing some elbow raises. So we're actually going to be working our deltoids. And let's go ahead and let's take some bigger steps. Let's make our steps just a little bit bigger. And we're going to go and we're going to get lower. So we're going to start to crouch. And now hopefully you should really be feeling it in your quads. As you're having to keep them in a bit lower, they're now doing a bit more work. And let's see if we can get lower still. And if you don't want to get lower, it's always cool to go faster. All right, and this exercise is actually going to be the last exercise of our warm-up, but hopefully y'all are feeling energized, your blood's pumping, you're ready to go into a workout. And remember that before you start your workout, drink some water and just enjoy your workout. But we can go ahead and stop here. Thank you everyone for working out with me today. Really enjoyed it. But have a good rest of your day, everyone.